Hello, welcome to West Ham Confidential live here on Irons United for a Sunday night. Yes, I'm not Stel. Yeah, Stel is away doing other stuff at the moment. So I've had to jump in and come in with a few of my rants, which I normally would. Now, to be quite honest with you, I'm completely still fuming from yesterday's performance and result, obviously. Of course, it wasn't a total disaster in that we didn't lose, but it wasn't great either. I'm sure you can all agree. The question here is not whether we should have won that game, whether we should have stuffed Brighton, whether we should have held on to the win for the 3-1 lead or the 2-0 lead for that matter. Actually, what is the real question is Moyes the man, the manager, to save us from relegation? Do you have faith in him? Because taking a consensus poll out there, let's say, I don't think many people do. Many people are very worried. I'm going to bring in Anton right now, and he's going to give me his thoughts on what's going wrong and what we need to do. Hello, Anton. How are you, mate?
Good. Thank you very much, Alf. Thank you for having me on your confidential show.
No, it's fine. This is all open forum, open moaning forum. It could have been another grumble show. I mean, let's face it, that's why we're all here. But let's look. I mean, this show is really about Moyes and the players that he's got available and the tactics he's going to employ. Is he the right man to save us from relegation?
And
do you think he could do it?
No. In a nutshell, it sounds so harsh, and it sounds so. I don't know who could have saved us, though. If I'm being brutally honest, I think that's really what it comes down to. But I feel like again we're seeing tactical decisions, substitutions, favouritism of players that seems to be kicking in with West Ham, and I suppose it stems back to egos. Can these managers manage the players' egos? And I certainly don't think Moyes can. My biggest concern about Moyes was the fact that he never had a job since the last time he left West Ham. I'm not going to tear absolute shreds into him, because I think at some point he has been a good manager and possibly still is, but I wonder if it's the things that's holding him back, which is above the Moyes' head. What's your thoughts on Moyes?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt that there's issues upstairs. There's issues about the players that we're signing, when we're signing, the timely interventions, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. When the first few matches when he came in, I could see something there. I could see us changing a little bit. I could see some movement. The way in which we're playing, and in all fairness, I can still see that. I can see us trying to get crosses in the box. But I just don't think in those crucial areas we have the other players to do it. I keep on saying personnel. I don't mean personnel. You know what I mean? Players. Up front, Haller, for me, just not doing it. Not mobile enough. Not, searching enough. Not making enough space. Yes, he gets the odd header. Yes, he tries to lay off every now and again, but just not good enough. Lanzini, Moyes' love child, not good enough. Also, we've got defenders, who are just not defending. It's a calamity at the back. It's a calamity at the back. Ogbonna, who many would tipping for Hammer of the Year, just not consistent enough, making too many mistakes. Diop, again, yes, he got a goal, too many mistakes. Masuaku comes on, wayward passes. We could go on and on. Not enough energy and mobility in midfield. Are we asking too much of Noble now? I don't think he should be playing every game, but he kind of has to, because we need him to. Look, let's look, Dean. Here we go. Dean, thanks for the comments, and I'm just going to try and put the comments in as much as I can. Look, I was so angry on Saturday as well. I could not believe what was going on in the second half. It was like a circus, absolute joke. Can't believe what has happened to West Ham. I don't think many of us can. But let's face it, this is not a surprise. We've been kind of seeing this for the last sort of 3 years, 4 years, and certainly since we moved to the London Stadium, it hasn't been good. We've had a couple of little spells here and there. We had, I thought it was an indifferent season last season. I didn't think it was great by any stretch of the imagination. I still think the same problems were there. Us not being able to score. I think Moyes is trying to address that in that trying to get more shots on goal. We are having more shots on goal. There are more crosses coming in, but fundamentally we're not scoring and we're still leaking in goals at the back. I mean, look, there's so much wrong at the club. There's so much wrong with the way they're playing, the way they're being set up. But Moyes was supposed to come in and sort us out. He was supposed to be the one who had a defensive brain. He was supposed to be the one who was going to build from the back. Now, whether we like that brand of football, whether we think it's really entertaining or all that kind of stuff, for me, is out the window, because that kind of football is not for now. That is for next season if we can survive. Now it's all about survival. It's all about trying to play the kind of football that's going to get us results. And we talked about it after the match with different guys. It's whether he made the right decision bringing on Fredericks instead of Ngakia. I would have carried him on. Do we still keep with the same back four or the back two in the middle? What was the purpose of bringing on Masuaku and a defensive role? Why, yes, Antonio, he's going to run his heart out. His legs are going to go at some point. But at what point is Moyes thinking, right, I need to take an attacker off. I'm going to try and bring in somebody who's going to shore us up in the defense. Masuaku is not the player to do that, and he doesn't bring confidence to the rest of the team. That's the problem. Coupled with that, you've got just total breakdown in communication in the defense. Fabianski had a really off day with the second, especially with the second goal. I think there was on the replay I've seen, there's a suspicion of a tugging on his shirt. He couldn't really get there anyway, but he flapped at it. There's no way. Look, I mean, I think we're all sort of searching around now and trying to look for answers. But let us know. Let us know in the comments below. Let us know in the chat now later. Is Moyes the right person? Because so far, whilst I think he's tried to adjust the balance of the side and the way we play, he isn't addressing the biggest problem, which is our defensive issues. If we were really strong in defence, then you could say yes. And we were consistently strong, then you can say, yes, okay, now let's work on other areas. But we're not. Do we park the bus now for every game? Do we make it so difficult that teams can't break us down? Possibly that's the only way he's going to have to do it. Because then it's not only about results and points, it's also about goal difference. Because if we're going to get spanked 3-4-0 each game, or we're going to let in all these goals all the time, then, we're on to a hiding to nothing. Let's bring in a few comments here from the guys. So if I miss everybody, I'm doing this on my own. Unfortunately, Anton had to zip off. He will be back, hopefully. Look, the end is nigh, possibly. No, here's the thing. Here's the thing for everybody there. The end is nigh. Many people would have you believe it is. Now, I, for one, and many of us who are, let's say, older, have been through the relegations and promotions many times before. We know what it's like. The fact is that every year that passes, the gulf between the Premier League and the Championship and the lower leagues gets bigger and bigger. The amount of money gets more and more. So we're looking at situations now that if we do get relegated, then we have a massive financial penalty against us. The squad is going to have to be decimated. It's going to have to be sold just to be able to compete, because this group of players, the majority of them, will not last 5 minutes in the Championship. They haven't got the steel. We haven't got the steel to there. Was in the same position last year before fans protested in Burnley game. Yeah, but I think this is not a situation where, yes, it's a board issue. Yes, it's a problem in that regard, but it's not. This is a performance issue, and this is players completely underperforming again. We have bought. We've just sold too many, but we have bought we've got injuries to contend with and all that kind of stuff. But fundamentally, the tactics and those players aren't working together properly. You know, and that's what it is. You know, but I mean, here's what makes me nervous is that we seem to be getting the same results no matter who's at the helm. I'm not sure the manager is the problem here. I think he's got a tough job, and that's the thing. I'm not sure he is the right man to do it as we go on and on, because I don't think he can find the answer. That's the thing. I think it needs right now, it needs Moyes to change his tactics completely, I feel, and to say, right, okay, we've got to abandon everything that I was hoping to do with West Ham, and we've got to get it right back to basics. The fundamentals of defending, the fundamentals of defensive midfield, of stopping opposition playing. Once we do that, then I think we've got an opportunity to frustrate teams and to perhaps nick a goal here and there. And we've got to switch to counter-attacking play. That's our only option, because we don't have the players and the pace and the energy in the team to compete. That's the issue. Neil, here we go. Neil over said, I said earlier, we only ever seem to have 6 or 7 players doing anything. The rest are just passengers. Yep, I don't think you're wrong there. Many people would agree with you. Don't you think teams run past our midfield and down the side so easily that our defence will always struggle? Yes, they do. And I'm not blaming everything on our defence, of course not, because I think we're frail over the whole team. But it's not just that. It's massive mistakes at the back cost us games. And that's it. We had massive mistakes in the central defence pairing, and obviously with the keeper as well for the second goal. You know, this is the problem. Do you think? Sorry, here we go. Do you think they will be able to fill that stadium playing in the Championship? No, is the answer. No. I think there'll be a lot of fans returning. I think there'll be a lot of fans leaving because it's not Premier League football. I think it won't attract the so-called tourists, the day trippers, because it's not Premier League football. It won't attract the fans who are getting sneaky tickets from other teams, let's say, and they just want to go and see their team. So, you know, that's it. You know, there will be. I'll be surprised if there's 35,000, 40,000 in there. I'll be surprised if we stayed down there. I don't know if we start playing well in the Championship, let's say, I think, you know, the fans would come back to support the team. But I think initially there would be a mass revolt against the club, against everything. Everybody's going to be so dissatisfied. But I don't think we'll fill it. Yeah, every manager we've brought in plays a different style to the previous. So the new manager has players not akin to the way he wants. True. But there's a lack of adaptability amongst those players as well that we've got. They are trying. I think there's a bit more effort involved. I think they've tried. He's tried to change a few things. He's certainly tried to get the players to whip crosses in quicker. So we are better in that regard. But we're just not good enough up front. Haller on his own is just not good enough. Haller, unless he's got Antonio next to him and the service is great and they're playing closer together, it's fine. But we've just got too many players underperforming, lacking in confidence. Lanzini, you know, we desperately need Anderson back, but a fit, able and on form Anderson, not somebody who's going to be another passenger. Same with Yarmolenko. We need a fit and on form Yarmolenko to come back in. If we don't have those, there's no point in having them. Yeah, we got Jarrett Bowen now, but he's a Championship player. He scored oodles of goals. Yeah, but he's at Championship level. There's no guarantee that he's going to be able to come on and, you know, hit the ground running either. You know, Souček, you know, played for us first game. I thought we had a decent game. Did a lot of things that went under the radar. He did them very well. But again, you know, I don't know. I just don't think that we have the players. I just don't think Moyes is finding the best solution with the players that we've got. And that's the issue. We need the key. You know, he needs to find that key. And the key isn't there for him to, you know, he's trying to, you know, get all the puzzle pieces, you know, all lined up, all mapped out, just not working. That's the problem, just not working. There we go. I'm sure I'll attract a new breed of fans as price reduction. Well, look, this new breed, old breed, I don't know. Look, if we go down, let's say, there probably will be a pricing restructure. I'm sure there will be different types of fans coming in. Perhaps there will be. There will be fans who are maybe just want to go and watch football, couldn't afford the Premier League prices, but now it's reduced it, maybe, to Championship level. Maybe that's the case. But you look at other Championship teams around the country, very few are getting sold out. And very few, I can't think of any who have got a 60,000 seater stadium, at their disposal either. So I don't think it's like a new breed of fan or a fake fan or anything that we're going to get. I think actually you're going to get the more loyal fans, if you want. I don't want to use that word, but the fans who are proper who are West Ham fans, who don't really care whether it's Championship, First Division, Second Division, whether it's Premier League. You still want to go and see your team, and I think that's the way most of us feel. We want to go and see our team. We'd love it to be in Premier League, but we don't want to see a team. I go with my son. I'd started taking my son a few years ago, and I think as a parent of taking his child to football now. This is an interesting one for you guys, and maybe if some of you have had this discussion as well. But I had the discussion with him today to say, right, I've been taking you. You've only ever known West Ham as a Premier League club. If we go down, do you still want to go and watch them? And thankfully, I must have done something right in my previous life, because he turned around to me and said, well, of course I do. What a daft question. Of course I want to go and see them. Of course I want to still go and see them every week. There we go. So luckily, a huge sigh of relief from my part. But for children, the next generation fan, let's say, it's going to be increasingly difficult to keep that interest there if it's not exciting enough, if there's not enough being given back. Football is an entertainment, at the end of the day as well. They need to entertain us. They need to provide something that we can cheer about and be enthusiastic about. Us older fans, we're kind of used to it, but younger fans, and I see many parents at the ground taking their kids of all ages there. And I always wonder the same thing. If we get relegated, what will happen to all those younger fans, the kids, of teenagers, let's say? Will they still want to go? Will they still want to go and watch a team against a Championship team who are full of nobodies, or I should say players that you've never heard of? Whereas right now, those kids go into these West Ham games right now, they're going to be facing up against household names or international superstar players. That's the big thing. We know what kids are like. We know it's difficult to keep them entertained in the modern world, of the iPad generation and all this kind of stuff, and phones and everything like that, and games and PlayStations and everything. Football is one of those things that is still attracting children, thankfully. But if we go down, not so sure. That's where there's going to be a big drain, not only in tourist fans, but I think in family fans as well. A lot of family fans may not want to come anymore. I don't think it's a new breed. I think it's that struggle between a parent, which I am as well, and your child. And the last thing you want to do as a parent is drag your child to the football and try and force them to love it, because it won't work. It won't work. You've got to kind of find ways to make it appealing for them. And it's really difficult making it appealing to be a West Ham fan to a child when they've been playing so crap for the last 4 years. I don't know if anybody agrees with me, but that's where I feel. Anyway, Moyes cannot be held accountable for individual errors. No, you're right. He can't. And I'm sure he's as frustrated as anybody else about it. However, he can be accountable if he continues to let those players week in, week out keep Masuaku off the pitch, please. Well, I think lots of people would agree with you about Masuaku. I think lots of people agree with you about the unbelievable, unfathomable substitution that he made as well. Why did he do that? Why did he think it was a good idea to do that? I do not know. I do not know. Here we go. Look, Wayne Banner. Wayne Banner, hello. Thank you for joining. When we go down, don't expect an immediate return. Well, lots of people keep on saying that, and they said that last time we went down, but we did come back up. Luckily, I might add. Luckily, I thought we came back luckily anyway. It's hard. I think the Championship is such a difficult league. I mean, I sometimes, I live in Reading, so if I can't get to a game, West Ham and Reading are playing at home, I'll go and see them. So, and I also go and see them to check out some prospects, if we're linked with any prospects, and I know they're playing against Reading, I'll actually go and check them out. I checked out that Eze from QPR, went to see how Hughton was playing a few weeks ago as well. He's still as crap as he was before, by the way. But it's interesting that you see those players. They're really honest players. Yeah, the quality is in there. You can see there's a golfing quality, but there's honesty, there's energy. And our players won't be able to compete with that. No chance. Not right now. That's why our squad will have to change. We'll have to bring in a lot of youth players. We'll all the luxury players that we've got now will have to go, and that's the problem. We'll have to go. Forever Blown Bubbles, hello mate. How are you? Keep on missing you at the games. Keep on missing you at the Supporters Club. Come on down. Come on down. Very tough league. It depends how we all fill the large stadium. Wow. Again, I think we already talked about this, Wayne. I don't think we will. I don't think we will fill that the stadium. 30, 40,000 maybe. Of West Ham fans that we would have expected. At Upton Park, possibly. Those who couldn't get in. We were still filling that out for the most part when we went down as well last time. I know times have changed now, so you can't. It's hard to compare like for like, us now to us then. Different set of circumstances. We didn't have the ill feeling as we do now back then. We had other ill feelings for lots of other reasons, but not where we are now. So I don't know. That's right. I'm like, here's another one. David, thanks for joining the chat. Championship sides all fight for promotion. They do. They're all fighters down there. That's the thing. And that's one thing we're lacking right now. Real fight, real determination. Are you not struggling to love this setup with GSB lied to us and sold our home, changed our badge? It's not West Ham regardless of us. Are you not struggling to love this setup? I'm not sure what you mean about that. Of course, we're all struggling. We all hate it. We all dislike the whole thing. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. This is about Moyes. Is he the right man to save us? Is he the right man to bring us, get this group of players playing? Does he have the tactics can he change the tactics completely? For the next couple of games, the next few games, can he be the man who's going to say to the players, right, for this particular game, we have to play like this. No, this is no frills or fancies. We have to try and do something. I'm not sure if he is. I'm not sure. I think he wants to. I know he wants to play good football. I know he wanted to change it the way we've been playing under Pellegrini. I'm not sure. If we go down, we'll still have proper fans turning up. Yeah, absolutely right, Forever. Yeah, absolutely. We will. Of course we will. I'm not saying we won't. And we've got proper fans, real fans, all around the stadium right now. I'm not saying that all the fans there are not West Ham fans. I've never said that. I've said that not all the fans there. Sorry, there's a lot of fans there who are Premier League fans as well, if you know what I mean. And also there are fans, there are day trippers who are not fans at all of West Ham. They're just either from other teams or just want the London Stadium experience, as we know that. But if we do get relegated, do you think the owner's permission would become untenable? Well, I'm not sure it's untenable because they're not employed. But it would be very difficult for them. I think what it would do is put more stress on, more pressure on them, I should say, to find investors, maybe to sell the club. But You know, I still think, now many people disagree with me, and we were having a chat the other night on air about whether they want to buy the stadium. Some reports say no, they don't want to buy the stadium, and rightly so. From a business point of view, they're on a massive, easily fantastic deal there for $2.5 million a year. If we go down to the Championship, they're only paying about $1 million, $1.5 million a year for the stadium. Why would they want to buy it with all the overheads or anything like that? The problem is they don't have any tangible assets. So if they're looking to sell on the club, a good tangible asset to have would be the stadium. So maybe there's that issue. I don't think the pressure to buy is going to be from the owners themselves. I think the pressure to buy is going to come from the taxpayer, the London taxpayer, who's actually footing the bill. You know, the stomach to actually keep on paying 20 or 30 million a year for the stadium. You know, this big white elephant that's just bleeding, you know, money, is not going to be stomached anymore. So I think there's going to be a pressure. I think whether they want to buy it or not, I think there's going to be a lot of pressure to look at that and say, will you take it on? Would you buy it off us or something like that? There's no guarantees. Who knows? You know, who knows? It's going to be very difficult for them. Can you imagine the amount of pressure that they're going to be on from the fans? Of course. But again, it always comes down to how they react to going down, what they say, what they do with the manager, the coaching, the players. If they invest in those, are they going to be ruthless and say, right, we cut all these players, we get rid of them because they're not good enough? You know, we invest in Moyes to bring us back up, or do they invest in another manager? You know, this is the thing. This is the thing now. You know, but it might be a case that they, you know, Karen Brady is forced out. It might be a case that the two, you know, Gold and Sullivan decide that's it, we've had enough. You know, they don't want this legacy for their kids anymore. They maybe will attract a foreign investor who are more likely to buy a Championship club than a Premier League club these days. You know. There we go, Gary. Thank you for joining, Gary. If we go down, it will kill us. We won't get what we paid for this lot, and we pay in installments, so we'll have millions in debt. It may finish us off. We do have, and this is a real problem. The Premier League money, the TV money, the 122 million, 130 odd million that we earned last year from TV money alone, and our position in the league and international broadcast rights and all that kind of stuff, that's basically funding it all. You know, that's basically funding it, because we're not getting a lot of revenue from the stadium itself. We're not getting a lot of revenue from commercial. We're not getting a lot of money from branding in real terms. Actually, the biggest thing is from the TV money. Then, if you factor in the high wage bill and the running costs and everything else that we go for, there's not a lot left over. If you also factor in the money that the club has to pay back, you know, Gold and Sullivan for that, you know, so there's, yeah, there is millions in debt. If you sold off those assets, whilst they would bring in a few million, let's say, it would be a fire sale. There's no doubt. But you've got to do it. They've got to get rid of those players, to get rid of the wage bill, first of all. Yes, they've got the parachute payments and all that kind of stuff, and I discussed that on the video last week. But they got all the parachute payment, like 40 odd million that would come into the first year. They'd get all that. They'd be getting 90 odd million from the Premier League this year. You know, if we got 90, 100 million, whatever, it depends where they finished last, second from last or third from last. So they got that. So they got about 130, 140 million pounds to play with. It really depends how much money they've got. How much money can they afford to lose? How much money will Gold and Sullivan still want to take out of the club? All that kind of stuff. I think the more pressure that they have to sell the club, the better it will be. Anyway, Anton, welcome back. Welcome back.
Sorry, guys.
No, not at all. No, family emergency. All is required. All is fine, mate. So we're just going through a few of the answers here. So we're talking about the relegation prospects and how it's going to affect us and everything. But Anton, let me ask you: if we did go down, do you think Moyes is the right man to bring us back up? Difficult one, I know, because, you know, it's hard to say really, but
I suppose you're always going to have, like, potentially some people are going to say the comment, is that his standard? But what is Moyes' standard? Is he one of those managers that was missing for so long that he now doesn't really know the modern game anymore? I don't know. So if it's hard to think about it, but if I really had to put an answer on it, I would say no, I don't think he is the right man to get West Ham back up. Because he doesn't know the league. He only knows it from his time at Preston, and that's a long time ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's dealt with a lot more egos and players and etc. You've got to get your head around a different ballgame. And I think if West Ham were to go down, it's a whole new setup than what he's. The West Ham need a whole new setup. To be honest, it's a clear out. It's a change of mentality. Maybe that's what people want. I don't know, but I certainly don't think Moyes is the right man to, if we do go down, to bring us back up.
Okay, so if he's not the right man, then who is?
I don't know. Look at
and here's the next question, right? If he isn't the right man, who is? And why wasn't that man put into post before Moyes?
I think you've got managers that are capable of managing in the Championship. You've got managers that are capable of managing in the Premier League, and you've got the in-between, the ones that can take the step up, etc. You've just got to look at maybe the Brighton manager, Graham Potter, and think about what he's doing, or, it's questionable. I think he's a decent manager. I like sometimes the way that he plays. I think he's a clever manager, and if there's anything to take from that, is what he did yesterday. He brought Glenn Murray back into that side because he knows Glenn Murray was going to cause West Ham problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glenn Murray's not scored since May.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been playing in recent months.
You compare Glenn Murray to, Haller then? Similar kind of builds, similar kind of,
Well, to be quite honest with you, Alf, you would have swapped the two of them yesterday because Glenn Murray threw himself about. I mean, he caused our defence problems.
That's my point.
He's 36, mate, and,
exactly.
and you don't have to be a £40 million player. He just he ran ragged. I don't know. I watched the game and then I watched the highlights again, and they really highlighted Glenn Murray, and he borderline was unplayable.
Yeah.
But when you're up. Yeah, he did bully them. He bullied both of those centre-halves. They had no idea what they were going to do. He was drawing them into tackles. He was drawing them into fouls. He played the old-school centre-forward, which the Premier League can still have. Like, people are constantly going on about this new style of play and having one up top and feeding the midfield and blah, blah, blah. West Ham don't have that. West Ham can't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
If Sebastian Haller was doing... I'm not trying to put the blame on him, but if he was doing something similar to Glenn Murray, I mean, did you notice that a couple of times when Glenn Murray, he won the ball, he may have fell down and been fouled. He got straight back up and went forward. Straight back up and went forward. And he was, and he, do you know what he was looking to do? He was actually looking to beat the defender for that penetration of a pass. I'm not trying to say that Glenn Murray's better than Sebastian Haller. Yesterday he was, and recent whatever. But I actually think you just watch West Ham and we're so static all the time. And I don't know how many more times we can.
No, we can't. Yeah.
Do it. We can't keep being static.
No.
It goes back to the basics. It's funny, I'm going to relate this random story about Kobe Bryant, who last week unfortunately lost his life in a helicopter crash. And one of the things that he did and stated was, in his whole career, someone had asked him, there was a story about how he trained, and some famous fitness person said, I want to come and watch you train, Kobe Bryant. And he said, what time do you start at? And he said, I start at 4 o'clock in the morning. So the guy who he was going to train with, he said, listen, I'll meet you at this hall at 4, and that's fine, we'll get started. And he said that the training guy decided he thought, well, I'm training with the world's best basketballer, so I'm going to turn up half an hour early. So at 3:30, he turned up to the basketball gym. And who's standing in the gym? It's Kobe Bryant, about 45 to an hour early. And all he was doing, he said he just sat back and watched him for an hour, and he was doing the basics. He was just doing basics. And he approached him and he said, after about half an hour of watching, why are you doing the basics? He said, that's why I'm the world's best.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
You just have to be at that level at doing the bare minimum, the absolute basics of football. And I think to myself, when I'm not a striker in any way whatsoever, but growing up as a kid, and you see the coaches, and all you see is drawing arrows of diagonal runs, or trying to beat the offside trap, or at least making an effort to try and beat it. And do you know what? You've got the players that always get caught offside, left, right, and centre. And then you've got the players that never get caught offside because they're never attacking. You just want that player to attempt to try and get a penetration. And if I'm a Lanzini or a Fornals or an Anderson, I'm looking up and I'm thinking, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin that ball right there, and you run onto it. So Sebastian Hiller's shown no sign of being able to do that, to be honest. I think he's really, really been spoiled when he was at Frankfurt. And really spoiled with them playing to his strengths.
And that's what he's expecting. He's expecting everybody to serve his ego and play to his strengths.
But to be honest, were we not all expecting us to play to his strengths? How many more strikers?
Also, if it's not working out, it's just like anything, any walk of life. If it's not quite working out, you've also got to start contributing. You've all got to start saying, right, it's not working out. I know it's not coming my way. What can I do to improve the situation? And all I'm seeing right now, for the most part, is him looking around and thinking, well, I'm not getting the service. The ball is coming up me too high, or there's nobody around me to when I knock the ball on. There's nobody there. Even if I put a wayward pass, it's just like, you know. And that's what I'm seeing. That's the body language which I'm seeing. He's not contributing to, you know, he might do it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the game, but not 90 minutes. He's not doing it for.
Absolutely not. No.
Let me ask you this question: is Moyes, and to everybody in the chat and the comments afterwards, and everybody, you know, please like, share, subscribe, promote the channel for us as well. Get as many people in on these chats as well. I really appreciate it. But is Moyes too weak to make the right decisions, or not the right decisions, the ruthless decision? I think he is.
Quite possibly, yeah. I think there's a possibility that he could be a yes man.
Yeah.
And I think that's potentially what the board, you know, when the board, I can't remember if this is what they have physically said or alluded. Yeah, they have said it, I think, but during that crazy week of media, he said something like, you know, the fans called for us to change things. We changed things, we invested money, and we gave you the manager you wanted, and look where that got us.
Yeah.
And comments like that make me think that they were looking for a guy to come in and be a yes man. And I honestly think, if I'm David Moyes, I'm sitting there and I get a call from West Ham. Theory, you could call it a poison chalice. It's a money maker anyway. It's not poison chalice. It's a great job for any manager looking to get back his name back into it. You're going to take that job. If you're a David Moyes, that is, not if you're possibly a manager that's been touted to come an up-and-coming manager. I don't think we could attract an up-and-coming manager, if I'm being honest. So I think he's more of a yes man, to be honest. And I think I don't think he can manage egos as such. The modern game's changed, even from the time.
It has.
And do you know what? I don't know if you've seen the argument between Roy Keane and Jamie Carragher and Sky Sports a few weeks ago. And he said, would you have given Moyes time at Manchester United? And Keane said, yeah. And I agree with that. I do agree with that, because I don't think they gave him enough time at Manchester United. But what happened from there was the fall from grace, I suppose you can say. He's been around, wore the T-shirt, done so much, and not really recovered from that Manchester United job.
No.
And kind of held on to that flame of being the manager he was when he was at Everton. But since he was at Everton, that's a long time ago, and things have changed dramatically.
That's right. Yeah.
There was a question you asked earlier on, and I keep seeing them coming up in the comments. And if you were to say to me, what potential manager could I see doing a good job down there, and someone who's potentially got experience, is this man? I'm going to get a picture of him. Chris Hughton.
No, I'm not sure. I don't know. Please let us know in the comments, everybody, and the chat, what you think of Anton's suggestion, Chris Hughton. I'm not so sure about that one, Anton. I think we will be having a lover's tiff very soon about this one, my son. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
What I have to say to you is
why Chris Hughton? Come on, let's debate this one.
Chris Hughton, I'm going to get some statistics up here. In his managerial career, he's managed Spurs as a caretaker manager in '97. He's been the assistant manager to Republic of Ireland 2003 to 5. Caretaker manager at Newcastle 2008, but actually continued managing them through to 2010. Birmingham City for a year, Norwich City for 2 years, and 5 years at Brighton. And in that, he actually managed Newcastle, and I believe he got them promoted from the Championship to the Premier League.
Yeah.
I believe.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say his record is bad.
Yeah. I'm just looking at a manager that could come in with a history of the club, previously playing there, has been in the Championship. He guided Birmingham to 4th place. They didn't get promoted that year. He has been in the Premier League. He's been a Norwich manager. He brought Brighton up and maintained. Did he not bring Brighton up with some crazy?
Yeah, I think he got over 100 points. I think.
Yeah,
Brighton,
a crazy amount of points.
So. I could be wrong. Yeah.
With a small budget, I actually thought it was quite harsh when Brighton sacked him.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I'll tell you something now. Maybe it's a ballsy statement I'm about to make. I think I'd rather have had Chris Hughton than David Moyes. Yeah, I'm putting it out there. I really think I would have. I would have, because if you're looking for a yes man, I think he would have been a yes man to a certain extent, but he knows the club inside out. He knows it inside out. Not just been there for 6 months to steady the ship, but I think he would have challenged back and maybe felt what the fans felt, and maybe done things that maybe Mark Noble did with the subtle interview he done with Talk Sport that really rammed home a message to the board. Do you know what I mean? Things like that.
Possibly.
I'm not saying.
I think we'll have to agree to disagree.
He's not the next. He's not the next level, Alf. I know that.
No, but I don't think Moyes is either. I mean, Moyes isn't.
We need to steady this ship right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is he the right man to steady the ship? Is he the right man if we went down to the Championship to bring West Ham back up? I think he could be.
If we went down, if we go down, I think we'll have this discussion again.
Yeah.
I think right now, let's say if we're saying let's change Moyes for Hughton, I would say absolutely not. Let's say if we went down, let's see what other prospects are available. I mean,
it's funny you look at it.
You could throw loads of other managers into the mix there.
There's loads of managers coming through in the comments, Alf. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just look. I've got here. Moyes is a joke. Here we go. Look, Barbara, she said, Alfred, that's me. My name's not Alfred, but I'll take that one. Talk sense. Thank you. I do talk sense.
So stop, change the subject. The subscriptions are going down every second. Listen, there's people in here that
who says that? That's true. Think of the numbers, Anton. Think of the numbers. We can't have controversy. We've got to talk proper.
But look what Andy's saying. Yeah, but Hughton ticks all the boxes that Sullivan loves. He's a typical bland Sullivan appointment, I suppose. Yeah, I mean,
forever saying, if we go down, Eddie Howe. I don't think so. I didn't like Eddie Howe. I've got to say, as when people now. Here we go. Now here's a manager who I said 4 years ago. 3.5 years ago.
Well, we nearly had him. We fucked up with that one.
Yeah. When Bilic was going, I would say Martin O'Neill. Get Martin O'Neill. Get him in there. He would be my choice. If I had to have a manager to bring this up, he would be my choice.
What was his last job? Was it Ireland?
Forest. So him and Roy Keane went to Forest, both ex-Forest, old boys, of course. Went as a partnership from Ireland. There was something that happened at the club. I don't know what it was. There was some kind of big falling out. There was something in the background going on. I think it was not only performance based. It was, and I've got a feeling. I don't think it was sacked. I think they both walked away from it.
Just trying to have a look at here now, just to see what it was.
You have to check that. But let us know in the comments or the chat if you guys know as well.
would someone like Martin O'Neill come to the club when he nearly signed on the dotted line and then we screwed him over at the last minute, or he pulled out because someone released the information behind his back, and it was just all rather embarrassing again, which is the typical West Ham way, you know. So
Paul says here, thank you, Paul, for this. We have to be realistic. No one wants to come to manage our club. Chris Hughton would be a good fit. It's not ideal, but it would be the best of a bad lot. Okay, I would accept that. I would accept that, Paul.
It says here that Martin O'Neill was sacked in June 2019.
Okay, so he was that then. Maybe. Now, somebody earlier on said Scott Parker. I don't think Scott Parker would want to come to us. He's doing so well at Fulham. And even if they didn't make a promotion this season, I think he'd be a good shout just to stay there and just keep on doing the great job that he's doing.
It's funny you say that, though, because I think sometimes when, you know, I don't want to come across like, well, do you know what, I'm going to say it. If West Ham come knocking for Scott Parker, I think he is going to want to take that job.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think he is. He's got an affiliation to the club.
Of course.
And I think he would look at that like a long-term project. Like he could be looking at that thinking, because there's no ifs or buts about it. And I'm sorry, and I hate to. I don't like saying things like this, like we're a bigger club, but I think on paper we are a bigger club.
Yeah.
So, Scott Parker possibly. I don't know. I mean, it's all
okay.
Based
I've got another name.
Just looking at, but there's Martin O'Neill for anyone that's.
Hey, look at that picture. You don't get this anywhere else. You get real cool pictures flashed up before your eyes. No, now see how quickly you can produce this next picture, then, mate. Because this came up. I'm sorry, whoever put this up. I can't find the comment. I want to show it, but anyway, somebody up. So this is not my idea. Somebody in the chat has put up Kevin Nolan. Come on, quick, Anton. Put that graphic up. Put that graphic up. Do you know what? Kevin Nolan, the last I heard he was managing Notts County. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is he still there?
Is he not doing something with Bolton?
Gary Page. Yeah, Gary Page. That was me, was it? Yeah.
Is he not doing something at Bolton just now?
I don't know where he is. But I would, if it was a case that we went down to the Championship, I would be looking at somebody like that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's actually worked under Golden Sullivan in whatever capacity. Here we go. Look at that. Who has had Championship level experience, both as manager and player, and also he's got that grit, that steely determination. And do you know what? For me, Nolan, who would be arguably one of the reasons why we did come up last time, why we were in the position, to come back. You know,
I've seen someone saying today, and I think it was one of our previous videos. Here's another one for you, and it's the comment that's up there just now.
Yeah,
6 games to go, and West Ham are still in it to stay up. But West Ham have hit bad form. Would you take Allardyce back?
But the thing is, no manager change at that point is going to do anything. Allardyce, all he does, and he admits this every single time, he says he goes in and he gets everybody back to basics. That's what he does. He concentrates on everybody back to basics, defending properly, getting it, not overdoing things. If you have to have long ball, if you have to have counter-attacking play, and there's a good argument to say, actually, we should have employed him and not David Moyes. There's a very good argument. There's a very good argument to say that we should have kept with him a little bit longer and properly invested in a squad to bring better players in so he could have played better football. I don't necessarily agree with that argument. I don't necessarily think that he has that in his armour to play that kind of expansive, progressive football. But what he is like one of these wartime generals, these wartime consigliere type people. He will just come in and just say, right, that's it. Cut all the faff. We're doing it this way, and we're going to go, hardcore. And maybe that's what we needed right now.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we hoped Moyes would be, actually.
That's
I know people don't like Sam. Sam
but do you know what the funny thing is, though, Alf, with regards to the Sam Allardyce thing? I don't think. I think some fans think the majority of the fan base dislike Sam Allardyce, but I don't agree with that. I think that's a potential social media opinion.
No, I think it's quite split, actually.
Yeah.
And I will hold my hand up. I was actually quite happy with what Sam Allardyce was doing for us, based upon the players that he had. Let's not forget, when we first got promoted and everybody was slating him and all our performances, we had such a crappy run. But all our first team defenders were injured.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That? Yeah. And everybody saying, "Oh, he's crap. Oh, get rid of Sam." And he said, "Well, everybody's injured. What can I do? All the players that I've got who are second tier are just not good enough.
Yeah.
So what can I do? I can only play a certain way. Otherwise, we're going to get spanked 6-0 every week." So. That to me is somebody who knows exactly. He's got a full appraisal of the situation that he's in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whilst other managers don't. They don't have that appraisal. They don't understand what the issue is. It's not attractive football, but you can't have attractive football if you haven't got the players to do it.
So, with regards to what we've been talking about. If we had to put up the players, I mean, listen, guys, we know that Moyes is here, right? We're just guessing at the fact if we do go down, who's the right man. We have discussed this man, Chris Hughton, Martin O'Neill,
Martin O'Neill for president.
Kevin Nolan.
Martin O'Neill for president with Kevin Nolan as his as deputy prime minister.
Sam Allardyce. Scott Parker. I did see a comment come through about Slaven Bilic.
Oh, no. Come on.
Do you know what the funny thing is about him? I actually think if we did come back in for him under the current board, I don't think he would come back. No. I think he is someone that wouldn't come back to West Ham just now until the board had left and if he had changed things in the future. Yeah. But I don't think he'd come. I also seen another comment about Paolo Di Canio coming in.
Thing is, Paolo Di Canio, when he was at Swindon, right? I followed him quite closely at Swindon because I got the other half is from Swindon, so they were telling me all about him. And some of the reports that were coming out of him, I thought, what a fella! I love this bloke. Well, I loved him anyway, but just the way he turned from player to manager, he was a dictatorial guy. He wouldn't stand for anything. He was falling out with players left, right, and centre. And guess what? He was very much Roy Keane-like in the way he talked to his players, and he expected the absolute commitment, dedication from them. And when he wasn't seeing it, he was like, "What the hell's all this about?" Yeah. When he went to Sunderland, he had exactly the same issue there, and that's it. And I feel, whilst I don't think he's right for us, don't get me wrong, but in some ways he is. But he would have the same issue with us, with our players, I should say. He would come in and he would say, "What the hell is going on with you lot? Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you performing? Why aren't you trying 100%?" And that's what it is. And he'd fall. They'd hate him. We wouldn't get the results, we wouldn't get it, and then it would damage his reputation with the fan base ever more. Yeah. But that's a risk you got to take, isn't it? That's a risk you got to take if you want to go into management.
Absolutely.
And I think the Forever saying, look, him and the board wouldn't get on. I don't think he would get on with many of the players that we've got right now. We've got too many prima donnas. We've got too many people who are players that are sensitive about, being played out of position, or their egos will get deflated all of a sudden, or bruised, if we don't play the perfect ball to them. And I think that's it,
Are you happy for us to move on? I've got a question I would like someone...
sure.
Gary, I know this is your show. Sorry, Alf. But
No, sure, carry on. No. It's not my show, it's everybody's show. Carry on.
Gary Page, boys, what does Moyes have to do to keep us up?
For me, I will answer that in one answer, mate. It is change the tactics completely, go ultra defensive, make it very, very hard for teams to beat us, frustrate the hell out of them. And that is and compress midfield, push up from defence, compress pack out midfield, and you're going to have to play one at the front, or maybe have a play a sort of 5-4-1, something like that, or a 5-3-1-1. In other words, you're playing a 5-4-1. You know, something like that. Something that we're actually just making it really hard.
Yeah.
I think our expansive football, whilst we want to see it, we can't afford to do it. We cannot afford to play that kind of football right now. We have to be backs against the wall, you know, take on all comers, and you know, if they try and come at us, we just limit the space that they can play. Double team everybody and all that kind of stuff.
The problem with that, Alf, is I don't actually think we've got the men that can potentially do that. If you look at the players, even coming back from fitness, you've got Anderson, Yarmolenko, then you've got Snodgrass, you've got Fornals, you've got Rice, Noble, Souček that could potentially do that. You've got Bowen that's just come in, and Antonio, Sebastian Aller. I mean, I've seen some quote from Sky or someone ex-pros are saying that something similar to what you said. I would put Noble and Rice right in front of the back four and say, don't move.
Yeah.
And just make it really tough. And I kind of get that to a certain extent, but I think to myself, I wonder if there's other things. I mentioned it last night. I wonder if dropping Declan Rice back into the centre-half position and giving West Ham a more balanced defence, because that defence needs changed, full stop, 100%. Something drastic needs to happen in that area.
Yeah.
Therefore, we need someone who is calm and capable. Then people would say to me, what do you do in place for that? Then I still think there's a place for Mark Noble to play in the side alongside Souček. And then you've got Bowen that's coming back in. And I actually wouldn't be surprised if you see Bowen and Antonio try to strike up a bit of a partnership and giving Haller a rest, because I don't want to rest, in theory, on paper, what our best players are. But it's not working right now under Sebastian Haller, and I'm quite excited at the prospect of Bowen, who, if you've read into him and looked at his stats and looked at a couple of the videos and ever followed the Championship, and the way he's described, he's inside right. I think he's 2-footed. He scores goals. His momentum is high. Yeah. You know, I can see him and Antonio potentially being the rescue pair, the Hearts and Kitson of the season. There's a feel behind Bowen, and if it's just whether or not Moyes has balls. Yeah. That's where I think it falls down to. Does our manager, David Moyes, have the ball?
We've got a comment here. We've got a comment here from Lee. Lee, I believe you're talking about what I've just said, rubbish. And you've caught on 4-4-2. We need to score goals. So I'm not dodging any comments here, and I'll address this absolutely right. And basically, what you said, we all want to see this. We all want to see, you know, attacking football, and maybe, you know, Bowen can come on, but he's an unknown entity. You know, Antonio, has he got the legs for it? Haller, has he got the heart for it? Has he got the energy for it? But regardless of how many goals we can score, we've said it right from the very start. We're going to have to outscore our opponents because we're still letting in too many goals. And that's the problem. We are letting in too many goals. We're making too many mistakes in the back. And whether we bring Rice into the back and just pack out the midfield, whether we change for a counter-attacking style, whether we go for more of a long ball game, whatever it is, this is not about playing the kind of football that we want to see. This is about playing the kind of football that's going to get us points so that we survive. That's it. This is not about playing the West Ham way or playing, football that's going to look good for match of the day and all the commentators are going to look great. This is about playing ugly football, and to coin, a tennis term, you're in a fight when you're winning ugly, and that's it. And if we can win ugly, that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, please, I know you're commenting, but get the comments in and let us know your thoughts on how Alf said he would set up his team. Let me know how you think you would set up. Do you think even putting Rice back into the defence is an option? I just think about Rice when he played, when he first came into the side, he was playing defence, and it was a couple of seasons ago against Aguero, Man City, away from home. We went 1-0 up. We got beat 2-1 in the end, but he did completely manage.
Yeah, but he also played against Arsenal where he made a couple of mistakes, and those couple of I think one went off his head or something like that. That could have destroyed him as a player, but they had faith in him. He carried on, and he did well.
I do think though, but the amount of games he's got under his belt, he has now got experience at this level. Therefore, it's, for example, when Diop came off against Tottenham when we were getting smashed in Mourinho's first game, he put Rice back in. We did look a lot better off. We did, and he really calmed. That's what it is. It's about calming the ship, and I would happily lose him in the midfield to tighten up our defence and let Souček and Noble do the dirty work and see where that goes for us. And you've got to look at players like Vincent Kompany, who not for his whole career was a defender. At certain parts, I think originally when he was at Anderlecht, actually played through the centre, and every now and then Manchester City every now and then brought him into that midfield role and then dropped him right back into defence. Of course, he's a centre half. Of course, that's his main position. Yeah. But they could utilise him when he was needed, and Declan Rice is. I think we need to maybe utilise him till the end of the season. But it will be interesting.
Let's bear this in mind. Of the way it used to be many years ago was that you'd start up as a striker, and as you got a bit older, you dropped into midfield, and as you got a bit older, you dropped into defence, and then you'd be a sweeper. And that's what it is. So players changing position as they get older or as they move through their career is nothing new. It's absolutely nothing new. But you're right. Look, I'm going to try and go through the questions here as well. Daniel saying maybe put a youth defender in next to an experienced defender, so we're both passionate, experienced. Yes, but it's about that naivety to make the right decisions in those crucial moments. Can we risk that?
Well, we did it with Ngakia. It worked.
Yeah, but he's not central defence, though, is he? He's got a bit more protection on the right hand side. We
did do it. Rewind last season at Upton Park, Reece Oxford against Arsenal. He started. He was fantastic. He played the next game. He was bang average, and he was dropped. That wasn't enough to be dropped.
No.
Look where his career is now. Now, people can turn around to me and go, "Yeah, but he was crap." Well, the games he played for West Ham at the start, he wasn't. He was unfairly dropped, in my opinion. Maybe there was something going on in the background, but.
Look, Andy says here, play Antonio up top, drop Haller, and introduce Bowen. Oh, well, that may indeed happen. But how many minutes has Antonio got? That's the thing.
I'll be honest with you, Alf. I would swap a bit of that about. I would play Antonio with Bowen and introduce Haller.
Yeah.
That's how I would do it, because I think we do need the fire and power, and I think there's something meaty when you think about Antonio and Bowen up top. He does. Did you see I think there was a chance Antonio had against Brighton. He was out on near the corner flag. He brought the ball into the. He looked like he was going to take on everyone, and it went out for a corner in the end up. But I could, it's funny. It's funny how we become so reliant on Antonio after a couple of a season and a half of everyone slagging him off.
Oh, crikey! Look, I was leading the charge and slagging him off as well. But look, we were playing him, largely unfit. He was out of form, partly because of lack of fitness, but partly because he was just out of form. Partly because he didn't have Payet actually feeding him goals when he was scoring all those goals, is because Payet was creating a lot of them for him as well. Yeah. So in fairness to him, absolutely, he's been the one that has given us that drive and energy. He's the one that shows it. Just like a couple of other players, we don't have enough players who put it all out on the line, lay it all on the line for us, unfortunately. But look, can Moyes do something with the players that we've got? Can he? Let's say he doesn't change the system. Let's say he sticks with the players that we've got. So what does he have to do to motivate the players, or to make them? Lift their heads up and actually sort of play through, the bad moments in the game. What does he have to do? What does he have to say to them?
Drop players.
Sorry?
Drop some players.
Drop them. Yeah.
Because I'm a Lanzini fan, and I'm not a believer in selling him yet.
No, I'm not either.
But he needed to be dropped, and he was dropped maybe 2 or 3 games too late. Yeah, Sebastian Haller needs to be dropped. Yeah, he's been dropped. Should have been dropped.
I agree.
Possibly not dropped for last week's game, but now I think moving forward, I think against every game counts from now. So I don't think West Ham can afford. West Ham need to turn up and try and get points against everyone. So Man City game is equally important as to the Southampton game from now on. So West Ham need to turn up at their best team and put their best team out week in and week out. And for me, the best team would be seeing Bowen, who we don't even have never saw at the club, start alongside Antonio with and drop. And do you know what? Bring him on with fresh legs with 20 minutes to go. We've seen Man City tonight; they were beaten again. There is a chance that get a result against Man City, Alf.
Yeah.
If we can pull off a result against Man City, I'm just trying to get the league up right now. Trying to see where that potentially catapults us to.
Yeah, that would another 2 places, I think, 2 or 3 places.
So we're on 24, 18th in the league with 13 games to go. If results went right, that would take us up to 15th. If results went right,
yeah,
beating them, and then
so close. It's so close. Yeah.
Then we've brought something back, and now we're at the bottom 3, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams below us. Go to Liverpool. I'm just going to say get a draw. Probably get beat, but get a draw if you could, because are they due a slip up? They could be due a slip up. I don't. They're sometimes winning games in the last minute. So if we get a point out of that, that'd be good. Yeah. Then we go into the Southampton game, which is really important then.
Yeah.
Because then we get another 3 points out of that if we can.
That's right, because that's where the 2-week break is essentially, isn't it? After you go, that's right.
And that's where we can really make a difference. And if results go right, we can open up a little bit of a gap. Yeah. I'm just not trying to sit here and say that's what's going to happen. I'm just trying to see if there's a positive to come from the bad situation. And Sunday against Man City, we get something from that game. Listen, I'll take a point. I would take a point. We need anything. A point, in actual fact, a point with results going for us.
Yeah.
Would not actually take us out the goal difference unless Villa got smashed and a couple of goals. So we wouldn't actually be out the bottom 3, but we would need to just keep picking up points anywhere.
Yeah.
Alf, would you the next 3 games, City, and I'll ask this question to use in the group. The next 3 games, City away, Liverpool away, Southampton at home. How many points or would you be happy with now? How many? What's the question?
Well, I'd be happy with 9.
Of course.
Obviously.
So I'm trying to ask the question. What should West Ham realistically... how am I going to word this?
Man City, Liverpool.
If you had to take points now, what would you take?
2 draws. A point each from those games. And that would give us the confidence to get a 2-0 win or 2-1 win against Southampton.
So your minimum expectation is 5 points for the next 3?
5 points.
Yeah. Would you take 4?
Yeah. Of course, I would take 4.
Yeah, I'd take 4 right now.
Yeah.
I would absolutely take 4. And again,
I take 3. I take 3. I take 3 draws.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I would take 3 draws, but I wouldn't take 1 win and 2 losses. Because that for me is worse.
Yeah.
But 3 draws, it actually shows grit and determination and fighting spirit just to stay in the game.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a bit odd because it actually is still the same points. But, in terms of the way that the net effect it has on the players and the whole mood of everything, to say, look, we can't be beat here. We're not being beat, which is really good. I said the other night, we could come to the last 5 or 6 games of the season where we have potentially our easier games, let's say, and it could all be done and dusted. We could be relegated by then if we're not careful. Yeah. So that's where, this is where we need to, Moyes definitely needs to be the manager to get the players together. Somebody said it earlier on, I think it was Gary, he said, maybe jokingly, he said, get a bit of a hypnotist on them. He needs to instill something in those players that they are not giving up, that they are fighting for every ball, closing down players, relentlessly. And it takes a lot of energy, don't get me wrong. And to do that for 93 minutes takes a lot of energy, too much energy perhaps. And this is too much to ask of our players. I appreciate that 100%. But this is a position that they've put themselves in. They've put us as a club, as a fan base in, by not being consistent enough and by throwing away too many points too many points away from winning positions. Is that 19 points that we've lost from winning? I can't remember the exact figure. But it's just too much. They put us in the position. We haven't put ourselves. We as a fan base haven't done it. So now they've got to come out and fight like the players like Snodgrass does. He fights.
Yeah,
he fights for everybody. You could see how annoyed he is when things don't go his way. I don't see that same reaction from a lot of the other players. In fact, a lot of the other players are walking around as if they're bloody zombies. Not good enough. Not good enough. And that's what Moyes needs to do. He needs to instill that fighting spirit, that warrior-like spirit that they are so sorely lacking.
Yeah.
And I think, we go to City, we go to Liverpool. I think that we can make it very difficult with them, for them, with this fighting spirit. The cards are stacked against us. Of course, it could be a spanking. I know that, but we could make it really frustrating for them, and we could come away with a cheeky little draw. And if we do that, we'll take that into the next game, the Southampton game. And we could come away with a win or another draw. Take that into the Liverpool game, and take that into the subsequent games after that. And then it starts to build up. You start to have a bit more faith. But those first 3 or 4 games, with this new kind of hypnotized attitude, actually takes a lot of energy, a lot of processing power, a lot of, and whether those players have got it or not, but it comes down to Moyes now. And possibly this is where Moyes has made a massive mistake, that he hasn't been able to get a backroom staff to support him in these kind of, coaching field chats that he needs, because he's like one voice. He's got Irvine next to him. He actually needs another 2 or 3 behind him who are real ballers, who are real shouters out there, and actually crack the whip.
Do you know where I would crack the whip? And this is something to have a think about. We've got City next. We're playing 2 away games in the space of, is it 2 weeks? Because we've got a little break. So we've got City on Sunday, and the next game is Liverpool away. I think that's on.
I'm
going to get the fixtures up here.
I thought it was Southampton next game.
Oh, is it? Have I got that wrong there?
You'll be at the City game. So we'll be doing live links from games home and away, hopefully.
I haven't confirmed that yet, but it looks like I will be good. No, it is. It's definitely City away, then Liverpool away.
What's the date on the Liverpool game?
24th, so it's midweek, and then it goes into the weekend, because that's another game midweek.
Oh, so 29th, isn't it? Is it 29th?
No, the 9th and the 24th and the 29th we're playing.
Yeah, 29th is Southampton.
So
that's right. Yeah.
From the 9th, which is 15 days later, we're playing Liverpool away, and this is what I suggest West Ham do. Rather than taking the players away to a fancy, expensive boot camp, I would keep the boot camp in the north of England.
Yeah.
And keep the players up in the north of England and hire this space and take them up there and get them used to just being in the north of England. Yeah. And, have as many morale boosting, team networking, keeping the team together, taking them out for meals together, having as much camaraderie.
Get the families up there, get the wives and girlfriends up there as well. That's fine. That's all part of it.
We don't need to go away to Miami. We don't need to go away to Dubai. We need to stay in England, and we need to stay probably, get them settled in. Even though it's only a 3-4 hour train journey away, we don't need that. Just get them and stay in the north of England.
Good chance.
And I know people are coming here saying training camps will help with injuries, and Antonio could use the help. You're right. People are putting the comments in here. You're right, but it's never. Has it really benefited West Ham in the past when we've had an injured player? It doesn't really matter, to be honest. I don't agree with that. I think it's going to be something to do. But do you know what, Alf?
Actually, there's evidence to suggest that heat is not that good anyway. You actually want the cold.
And the cold, or a mixture of both.
Yeah.
So we just briefly cover some of the comments that are coming in here, for example.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you want to send them to a training camp, send them to me. That's it. I'll send them, and send them to any fan out there. That's what they need to do. If they want to be shown how to actually address a game, as it goes a team. Send them as a group to any fan. You know, and any fan out there would be like Mike Bassett, who walks into the England dressing room and he will be kicking over stuff and he'll be throwing stuff around and he'll be having a right go. Because he would. Because everybody would be like, what the, you know, what's going on? What's the matter with you? You bunch of daisies. Come on. Up you go. And that's what it is. Anyway.
Comment there. Big protest too for the Southampton game. Lose both the following games. Go into the Southampton game. There is apparently a planned protest.
Yeah, there is.
At the Southampton game.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know. I've seen comments flying around that people are potentially starting to get, not all, and I'm not associating this comment I'm about to say with certain groups or whatever, but there's some individuals are putting comments out stating that we need to cause bother and have problems and stuff like that. I couldn't disagree with you more on that. I think as long as the protests stay professional, which is what that particular, I mean, I don't care even mentioning it, Hammers United, they're trying their best to remain as professional as they can.
Absolutely.
And they're managing a group of people and they're trying to maintain and keep those professional people there, you know, because they don't want to be discredited, and that's exactly what the board will do. The minute that a fan oversteps the mark, and even if they're not associated as such with Hammers United, it will discredit what Hammers United are trying to do. So whether you're for protests or not, either way, and what I will say about Hammers United is they keep stating that they don't want any trouble, they don't want to cause any aggression, blah, blah, blah. Whether people think it's inciting hate or not, they're at least stating that they don't want to cause any bother. As certain individuals, the comments are flying around saying blah, 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 which I don't agree with. And that will cause more upset for not just West Ham on the field, but West Ham fans in general, families who are taking their kids there, older fans who've been going for years. Any fan really that's going, it's not a platform for people to cause. No other fan should cause another fan harm, concern, problems, turning up to the club they love, feel difficult, feel uncomfortable. There's absolutely nothing worse to think of that you go and you're supposed to be, you should be able to go to a West Ham game and look beside you and think he's my best mate because he loves and is passionate about the club that we do. It's a bit like these social media groups. Our group, Irons United, in theory, we should all be best mates, like with each other. It doesn't work like that.
I hate you.
But it should be like that. But it's not like that. It's really weird. It's a really, really, really weird world. And
look, as we keep on saying, you know, for us, for you and I and Stel and the others, you know, it's West Ham first and foremost. That's it. You know, us as Irons United, you know, it's a distant second. You know, we love doing this. We love bringing you all this information, all that kind of stuff. But we just want to watch the game, and we want to watch our team do well and support them and get frustrated like with everybody else. And we have the same concerns, the same hates, the same. We have exactly the same as everybody else, and the majority of fans, I'm sure, have exactly the same. But it's the manner in which you act, and that's it. That's the manner in which you act, and that could be the thing that either makes it worse or makes it better for us. Now, you know, some people will start saying things when really they shouldn't. They really should hone it in a little bit. You know, the protests, I'm in favour of them. I'm in favour of them having peaceful protests and raising issues and raising awareness and trying to get the media to understand that. I'm fully in favour of that, but not take it into the stadium, not make it a situation where it's affecting the team. And as you say, other fans who do not want to protest but still feel as strongly about it as you do, you know, and maybe they got children. Let's say they're not going to risk anything with their children. Absolutely right. The last protest as well, I was going to take my son along with the very first time it was mentioned. Within a couple of days, I started reading reports or things that people started to say. I said, I'm not taking my child anywhere near that because there's a risk. And even if it's a tiniest little risk, it's a risk, and that's it.
I think, and is it Forever is writing in there, we'd be bored if we all agreed. I agree with you. It would be boring if we all agreed. It's just more to do with the fact that we can be a toxic. We are a toxic. I mean, I think every fan base probably has it, but you know, we live and breathe it. As you,
but we all want the same thing. we all want the same thing. We all want our team to do well. We all want Moyes to pull his finger out and get the players playing. We all want the players to show extra passion. We all want the board to either leave or fully invest in the club and start not run us like a Sunday league outfit. Is all drunk from the night before. We all want the same things. Yeah. It's just about, let's focus on the team now. Let's just focus on what we're going to do.
Alf, there's this is quite an interesting point to bring up. The comment about the man with the laptop at the Liverpool game, and I think it's been kind of met with quite a lot of uproar. I don't know if you've seen the image, but
yes, I did. Yeah,
and we live in this world now where you can't really do anything anymore without someone taking a picture and commenting. So, for example, let me bring it up. I mean, when Stell sat and had popcorn at the game, our social group took pictures of him and uploaded it, and it was more for banter. It wasn't a hard time over. And people now start slagging off if they see. Some people start slagging off people if they're sitting eating popcorn. I mean, is a laptop any different to someone sitting on their mobile phone?
Right. Can I just say something? People are outraged about this guy with a laptop, right? Do you know why he had his laptop there? Anybody know? Does anybody know why he was actually had his laptop in? Because they were advertising before the game, you're allowed to bring your laptops in. We're allowing you to bring any kind of iPad, tablet, laptop in through security.
People are coming from work.
Yeah, you're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
That's why. That's why he had it. And you've no idea what he was doing on there. He might have been writing a blog. He might have been writing a step-by-step commentary to his friends somewhere. He might have been sending a message to his, his girlfriend or his boyfriend or whatever, saying, "Oh, look, I'm at the West Ham game. Fantastic." You have no idea.
Stressed at work and had to send an email. And
exactly.
Look, do you know what he thought? If I can't get to that game, he said to his boss, "Let me go to the game and I'll do a little bit of work while I'm at the game."
Yeah. Or maybe he was just he was just doing it before at half time or before the game even started.
I couldn't care less. I wouldn't look at him. I wouldn't look at him any other negative manner by seeing a guy sitting on his laptop, because I tell you what, I bet you 30,000 of the fans sitting on their mobile phone throughout the game.
Yeah.
I've seen it myself.
Yeah,
I'm very cautious of the fact of taking my phone out in many occasions, sitting at a dinner table with the family or at the football game. And sometimes I remember once being at a game at Upton Park, and I remember filming, and I remember the click moment when I went, I'm filming like every kind of attack that West Ham had, because I wanted to capture the celebration if we scored, and I did capture it once against Chelsea, and it was Mo Diam or Maega scored. Anyway, the point was, I remember after I went, "Oh my God, I just watched that through a phone," and I was at the game. So I've travelled from Scotland, I've spent a fortune, and I've actually ended up doing that. And then after that, any moment I do take now, this is what I do. I set it up, I put the camera and I put it above my head and I watch the game. If I ever want to film anything, I just don't get massively offended by things like that. So
no, I don't. Look, as I say, it didn't bother me at all. I think people are making a big thing about it. Look, but you're absolutely right. Are people actually going to watch football, or are they going to be on their phones, or they're going to be on laptops or whatever? What are we doing at football now? Yeah. We run a channel just like any other people do, social media and stuff. We're trying to produce content. So you could argue, actually, and there are lots of people who go to football games and do their vlog type things, and they film themselves doing reactions to the game and all that kind of stuff, and go, oh my God, he just scored, all that kind of stuff, right?
I thought about that though. He was watching the football. He's too far away in the seats. I mean,
probably he was probably in the gods, wasn't he? But so people do that, and I just don't. It's not for me. I want to go and watch the game. I want to have my hands in my pockets. I want to be miserable and shouting and cheering and all that sort of stuff. I don't want my phone out. I don't want my camera out, whatever. But technically speaking, for us, especially if we're blog writers or photographers or YouTubers or whatever whatever thing that you're doing, actually, that's what you should be doing. You should have all this stuff with you. The factor is,
laughing at these guys. He was watching porn.
Well, that's right. But the thing is, he knows what he's doing. I don't care. I don't care what he's doing.
What about the guy that took the picture? What was he doing?
Well, exactly. He's taking a picture of somebody else. And it's just like, if I was on my laptop and somebody would take a picture, I'd go, "Oh, what's your problem? What's your problem?"
This world is just a funny world, isn't it?
So he's on his laptop. You're messing about on your phone, taking pictures, and then spending the next 10 minutes trying to send it on Twitter with a crappy signal from inside the stadium on their Wi-Fi, which is brilliant. Anyway,
I'm planning to go in the next 5 minutes, but someone had written.
I need to go now. I've had enough.
So before we do go, very briefly, I think we need to cover it. Someone had written in the comments ages ago about the Sunday supplement, which Stell covered. Weekly a couple of weeks ago. And by the way, just to let you know, I think Stell is coming to you with a West Ham Weekly tomorrow. He'll give you his kind of rundown of all the stuff that's been happening. So make sure you tune into that. And then obviously this week, I think we're going to try and come out to you with a gift of the gab, midweek gift of the gab. Got a couple of the boys coming back onto the channel. I'll be back on with that. And if any of you are interested, actually, yes, if any of you right now are really keen to come on, we'll give you a gift of the gab podcast, middle of the week. Come in private messages and let us know after, and we'll get you all sorted to come on the show. And then after that, we've got the City preview coming up as well. But as Alf said, the Sunday supplement was these group of guys pretty much tearing the whole situation from top to bottom of West Ham apart. Today, we've seen a massive apology from them, and they put this video up on on the Sunday supplement, kind of making West Ham all look dreamy and happy and great and investment, etc. And then West Ham board had actually put it out on the official West Ham website, the apology. And then to make matters worse, Gold was starting to like and retweet things about the fans who are morons and stuff like that.
Thanks, Lee. Thanks for joining us, by the way. He's leaving. Yeah, I know. It's absolute farce. It really is. But look, are you going to the City game?
I said to you yesterday, I'm trying to clear up my diary to see if I can go. It's not really far for me to travel to. So I'm going to try and go to the game.
Well, if you are, everybody, so this is what I'm going to be doing now, or trying to do for every game that we can. We are experimenting with the channel. You might have noticed that we're trying to do a lot more live shows. We're trying to do a lot more live feeds from different places, either at the ground. So we are trying to expand on that as well. So whoever's at the game, we're going to try and get live feeds, live real-time reaction to the performance, the results, all that kind of stuff in sort of after-match videos. We're trying to have somebody, I'm going to do this inverted commas thing, in the studio, in other words, from, let's say, if we can't get to the game ourselves, for example, so somebody be managing this, then we're going to get lots of people coming in just for a couple of minutes, just giving their reaction to the game, and then we're going to go back out again. So that's what we're going to try and do with all of us as a group, but invite anybody else. So if you want to come on, be one of these guys who are reporting from the stadium or the ground or wherever it is around the country, or if you're on the road on the way back from a game, whatever, if you want to do that, then get in touch with us via the website, and we can try and sort this out. We are still trying to find out how we can do it. We think we know how we can do it, but it's how we can give you the information to come and log on to us. I think Anton's going to work it out because that's all beyond me. And I'm supposed to be the IT guy, and I have no idea how I'm supposed to do it. But anyway, look, we're trying to, as you see, we are trying to change things up a little bit. We're really enjoying what we're doing now. We're really enjoying bringing you this information and this chat, and getting people talking about West Ham and all sorts of different things, and hopefully we bring a balanced approach to it. That's all we want, just to bring a balanced approach to it as well.
Someone's making in the chat, people are actually vying for us in here. They're actually saying, listen, there's people watching. Why he's not hitting the likes, the thumbs up? Hit that thumbs up. See if you're watching right now and it's live, just go into that little thumbs up and go thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So just do that, please.
That one and that one.
Also, be good if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then there is an option to go and subscribe. I believe you have to be logged into an account, and I think any form of email account will do, but I think when you are logged into YouTube, in order to subscribe and to hit like, you need to be logged in. I don't think you can do it as a guest. You can watch the video as a guest, but you can't subscribe to the channel without signing in. So make sure you do sign in and do it that
hold
way.
on a minute. I'm subscribed to Irons United, and I'm the one who's actually on here, but I'm even subscribed to it. So if I'm subscribed to it, you can subscribe to it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And like I said, check us out. We're going to the Supporters Club every home game as well. There is a review up from the game there yesterday, and just make sure you check them out. So we'll be coming to you live, like we said, from hopefully inside the stadium, if not just outside. So yeah, it's been a pleasure. Al, thank you for letting me come on your show.
No, thank you. And thanks for everybody in the chat as well. Really appreciate all the comments as well. As I said, I'm sorry we haven't got. Well, I think we got to most comments, so I'm sure we missed out quite a few. Do apologise for that, but as I say, leave things in the comments below, and we'll try and answer you in time as well. I think Stal, as you say, it's going to be tomorrow night. We're another live stream with us, so come and check that out. It's going to be about 7:30ish, 8 o'clock-ish, something like that. We'll let you know tomorrow for sure. But again, same drill. Join the chat, leave loads of comments. Tell everybody to come on over and come and listen to us, and have your say as well, because this is your forum as well. And I say, if you want to get involved with the channel, or come and join. We've already had a couple of people who have joined us on recent videos as well, who've come on. They enjoyed the channel as well, so you could be like them. That's all I can say. But I think, look, if you're from around the world as well, this is what I'd really like to say as well. Not only if you're in this country, if you're from around the world, wherever you're from, and you want to come in, this is like one of your ways of connecting with a club, connecting with people who are actually there at the games as well. Get in touch with us, because we'd really like to speak to you guys who are not in this country, who can't get to games, and we'll have you on as well, because that'd be fantastic as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
Is that you?
Hey?
Is that you?
Me?
Are you done?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
No,
I'll shut up then, shall I?
I don't know if that was you closing off. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. No, I'll shut up now. A JPWHUTV, he says one thing. He says, I'm not a massive fan of Stal. Well, neither are we. Neither are we, actually. We can't understand a word he's saying. I have no idea.
Oh, God.
He's Greek. I don't know. JPWHTV, I've no idea if it's a joke or not, but we love him. We think he's a great bloke. Anyway, look, I'm out of here. Are you out of here? I'm out of here.
Thanks for tuning in.
So, I've been Anton, he's been Alf. Or the other way around. He's going to say, come on, Irons, you Irons, and all that kind of stuff. There's only one thing I will say. At the Hammers.
Come on, you Irons.
Ta-da.